Hello and welcome back to the channel and another tag video. I mentioned this in the other one that actually I'm not sure which is going to be uploaded first, but I feel like a fun way to try to grow a channel and meet new people and get more book recommendations and stuff is to do tag videos, especially in a place like this. So this time I don't know what this is called, but this is pretty much about like reading books, obviously, and like your preferred place of reading them. So here we go. And you are welcome to answer the questions in the comments below as well. As many questions or as little as you would like. Do you have a certain place at home for reading? So I live in a 370 square foot apartment. There really isn't a great designated place for me to read. I have this desk and that bed. That's literally it. That's all that fits in here. Although my friend and I were contemplating like a little reading nook, but considering I have a cat tree, table, and some space here, it doesn't really fit. But at least an hour almost every single night. I try to go for every night when the news comes on, the evening news, because I love the news, but I don't have a TV. So I go into the laundry/community room and I just sit on the couch there and I can watch the news while I read, and sometimes I'll go in late anyways to just watch some TV, chill out, because I don't mind reading from my bed. I do read from my bed, but there's something about reading on the couch with a blanket, although I don't bring a blanket with me. But hopefully, if the universe lets me, I will move into a one bedroom when this lease ends, and then I'll try to figure out where I'm gonna get a couch, how I'm gonna buy a couch, because those are expensive, or even just a nook chair. So yeah, it's either gonna be the bed if I'm in here, because that's pretty much the only place at home, because I don't want to read here on this desk at this chair. It's not very comfortable. So laundry room, the community room, bookmark or random piece of paper. Well, now I do actually have an official bookmark. I bought this at the local bookstore and it's got a bunch of cats on it. So currently I am using a bookmark for my physical books, especially since I'm getting a lot from like the library and stuff. I have this thing, alright? If a book is at a certain age, it's already been worn, then I'm not opposed to actually doing the dog ear thing, because I don't really like using a random piece of paper, although I have in the past. I don't know. Before it would have been, yeah, a random piece of paper, or I would try to remember the page number, but now I also have an actual bookmark. This slightly annoys me because it does this, but it's cute. It has cats on it. It was $4. Wow. That's okay. I'm supporting local. Can you just stop reading, or do you have to stop after a chapter / a certain amount of pages? I think a long time ago it was and/or for me. Now I prefer to get through a chapter. Page number doesn't matter to me. I just at least want to finish with the entire chapter, because that's when it's naturally supposed to end and you're supposed to have a little bit of a break, right? Although if something interesting is really happening, then I want to finish it, at least that particular moment. But I will say, I currently stopped somewhere here. Yeah, it's in the middle of a chapter, which typically I don't really like, especially in memoirs. I don't know, but okay. I like to finish the chapter or finish the essays. This isn't numbered chapters, so otherwise I will be annoyed. But I was in the middle of reading that and something came up, so I just kind of had to stop. It's fine. Do you eat or drink while reading? I do drink coffee while I'm reading. When I go into the laundry room to do my reading, there's also a coffee machine that everybody can use that's in the leasing office. So I'll, get some espresso, put it in there, and then, go into the room and have coffee to read. Yes, at 10 p.m. It doesn't affect me as much. My insomnia comes from other reasons. Eating, though, I guess occasionally. I actually did bring that book with me when I took myself out for Valentine's Day and had some ramen. That did not work out. I'm not going to try to get a library book dirty with ramen. But I think if it's like a little snack, I can multitask that way. A full meal? Probably not. One book at a time or several at once. So since I'm someone who tries to save on the power bill as much as I can, I don't want the light on as much as possible, so I don't want to read my physical paper books in bed. So in my brain, I'm like, okay, one book for Kindle and then one physical. But I'm starting to realize that maybe I don't like reading two fictions at once. Maybe if they were two very different genres. So for example, a spicy romance book and then like a heavy horror Stephen King. Those would be two very different stories that I think my brain would be able to separate the two. But I think at this point now I'm also feeling like, okay, maybe a fiction and then a non-fiction. But I don't think I can do more than 2 books at a time. Now I may have like 4 library books checked out at once and then like I'll dabble in something and then I find out I don't like it and that might be multiple books at once. But no, I feel like I just can't really get into either story if I have too many. Reading at home or everywhere? Everywhere. Sometimes I feel like the easiest places, the better places for me to read where I could concentrate more are actually when I'm out. Unless I'm getting ready to go to sleep, then that's different. But so like I've been bringing my book with me to coffee shops, to restaurants or whatever appointments, you know, we're gonna be waiting for a little bit. Might as well have a book with me. Especially since I have so many books. It's like, well, if there's an opportunity to read, let me take it. Reading out loud or silently in your head. In my head. I don't want to read it out loud. Unless I have somebody to read to, which I don't, so. Do you read ahead or even skip pages? Admittedly, I'm notorious for this. Especially when, like, a year and a half ago, last year, when I was only reading spicy books for the spice. So I would just skip around and find the spice. If I'm really into a book, then I won't. I will try really hard not to skip around and read ahead a little bit. But if I find myself getting a little bit bored, there are a few books, and I'm hoping that maybe if I get excited by something in the future in this book, then it'll get me excited enough to like keep reading. Yeah, I find out then that I'm probably not gonna care, so we shelve that book. There are some books I feel like I have like skipped around and then I liked it, you know, better towards the end, but I do not have the patience. Breaking the spine or keeping it like new? Both? I don't know. I think it really depends. I feel like if it's like my favorite book, then I wouldn't really want to break it. So favorite book, the spine is broken here, but this is like a classic where I feel like I want it to be used, especially since I'm pretty sure by now the very first copy that I had ever owned, wherever it is, was gonna be like worn out by now. Obviously I don't want it to look like it's, you know, going to the grave and basically beat the hell up, but used, you know, makes it look like you've used it. I do subscribe to one person where they like want to keep all their books like really pristine. I don't know entirely if I'm into that. Maybe at first when it's like brand new. Do you write in your books? In a perfect world, I would be Jess Mariano, like making itty bitty notes, but no. The most writing in a book I would do is on the Kindle, highlighting it and then adding a note in there. I think maybe I feel like I have written in books before, but none that I currently own. If they were in nonfiction books, like for example, I know I've got some disability books and there might be a moment where I like make a note in, especially if I'm gonna like talk about them for a video. Although I feel like maybe I would try to go for post-it notes rather than write in the margins. Cause I know I write too much. I've seen some TikTok videos of people reading classics and then they just highlight and write so much and I'm like, how can you read the book after that? There's just so much going on. Maybe a little note here and there, but I think I would absolutely 100% save that for the non-fiction, I'm learning something about this stuff books and not like a romance novel. I can't imagine. And that's it. Are there any more tags that I should do? You should let me know if there are any more tags. I looked up the list that I got this tag from and a lot of the ones that I saw are either non-existent, I can't find them, or I don't relate to them yet, but maybe you might know something. If you'd like to be a part of my little book club on Patreon, I have a Patreon. So I will leave that link down below, and I'd like to build up my reading audience on that Patreon as well, so I don't really have a lot of people I think, that are like really in like booktube space, so that would be nice if you would like to support my work and stuff that way. If you have not yet, consider subscribing. Would love to have you. And yeah, thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. I very much appreciate it, and I will see you later.